And I'm trying to be happy and trying not to cry. Why? Because my ex has so much money. He makes more than $18,000 a month easily. And now I sit here with the triggers because he's going to the Clemson Notre Dame game with my kids. I can't just randomly afford that. Hell, I can't even get them all in the same room at the same time. So I sit here and I'm going to get through this trigger. I'm going to suck it up, buttercup, and I'll move on. But it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. I'm pissed.
Welcome back, family. Today we are going to review this 47-year-old woman who decided to leave her 23-year-old stable marriage in order to find her happiness. And then she had the nerve to get mad and jealous at her ex-husband because he is doing much better financially after the divorce. Let me start by showing how much this woman can victimize herself. I mean, if there was a Victim Olympics competition, this woman would have strike gold. Now, before the sweet tears, let's watch her summarize her life story in few minutes.
Hey, it's Jenna. Recently divorced and kind of figuring out this new way of life. I was married for 23 years and with that person for 3 years prior. So for a total of 26 years of my life, I have been out of the game of dating, making friends, going out, and stuff like that as a single woman in her 40s. Yeah, I'm 47. So I've raised children. My children are adult children now. And it's kind of interesting because it's so lonely at this stage in life after divorce, especially with older children, because you make all your friends when they're younger, or at least I did. I met my friends mostly through my kids' activities. I was a stay-at-home mom and I took them to practices. I went to school, all that stuff. During my marriage, my weight went up and down. My looks fluctuated depending on health needs or what mental state I was in because of the abuse I was dealing with. And also just having children and being exhausted, literally doing everything. So as your children get older and as you go through changes in life like divorce or anything like that, your looks will tend to change. Mine have obviously changed a little bit. Actually, a lot. I have an autoimmune disease, so I did not have control over my weight for many years. And once they got my medications under control, and then I got out of my toxic environment, and honestly, I find refuge in the gym. I live in the gym. I have always been an athlete. I have always loved to work out. So this is not anything new. Nothing is going to change in like 6 months. When I'm healed, I will always be a gym rat. But it's interesting because I found that, you know, with this new day and age, I've kind of gotten into TikToks and all that stuff, and social media. I'm a photographer. Like, that's part of my job. I'm a visual communications major back in the day. Everything I do is visual. And so this was like something I could grasp to, I could feel, I could see, touch, all that stuff. I've said a million times how I don't connect online, just through text and all that stuff. So it's interesting to me. Some things, and I wanted to bring everybody's attention, that I have recently come across and heard a ton. I have had so many people message, comment. I've even had people in my like personal life say, you look expensive, or, you know, you're really pretty, so you probably, you know, I don't understand why you would complain about that. Like pretty girls can't have problems, or pretty girls can't feel sad about anything. Lots of girls get this. The guy just wants to get that girl's attention. Someone they've seen on social media for whatever reason. She's a girl in their town they know. She has the looks that she wants. You know, whatever the reason is. But they really don't want anything with that girl. They just want the ego boost, the attention for that moment and all that stuff. And then they move on. And so I've had this happen several times, and I've said to my girlfriends in close confidence, and I'm like, I don't understand, like, I don't get it. What am I doing wrong? And they're like, you're not doing anything. They knew immediately that you were out of their league. They just wanted you to be the toy. They wanted to, you know, get you and play with this shiny toy that they thought was so pretty, or they thought had all these attributes that they wanted, but they knew they couldn't keep you because they couldn't, you know, you're out of their league.
No, ma'am. You got pumped and dumped by Chad. You can try to make yourself feel better by saying that these men were out of your league, but the truth of the matter is that you played yourself by leaving your husband thinking that you could do better. Look where you are now.
this past year has been the hardest of my life. And this next season of the holiday season, I just triggered myself. It's going to be really, really hard. I could be on the ground right now. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Because I wanted to kill myself last year. I was in parental alienation through a separation and South Carolina separation law that my ex used everything he could to hurt me. And the holiday season was the epitome of hell because I was a stay-at-home mom and I was the magic of every holiday.
You mean that you had what most women dream to have. You mean that you were a stay-at-home mom whom husband was working his ass off so that you can live a blissful life without having to work, and you threw all of that away for some fantasy. Guys, this woman had it so good, but she blew it just because she thought that she was missing onto some magical stuff out there that might make her happy. Check it out.
I don't know. I'm in a different stage today. Honestly, I literally have been having a great week, amazing week. And then all of a sudden today, my emotions, I had the craziest thoughts. And I wonder, does anybody else feel this way? Like, I feel like I'm in mourning of the life I thought that I was going to have. And I'm kind of pissed at myself. I stayed in a marriage for 23 years and built up a family and my ex's career and everything, and we literally just got to where it was supposed to be everything we dreamed of. Like, owned a company, making, almost $1 million, and that was my breaking point, and I left it all. And I'm not a person that is about money. I've kind of been in mourning of the, like, oh my gosh, like, I gave it all up. Everything was around my family. So when I chose to leave, I gave it all up. Like, all up. I had no clue that the worst was yet to come in the 1 year of separation. And so it's weird because I find that I just thought today for a split second, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought, I should have just stayed. It wasn't that bad. Like, you made it 23 years. You made 26 years total. Your kids are like college and one's almost out of high school. Like, you made it. Like, it didn't matter at this point. They can do their own separate life and all that. You made it to the point where you guys were making so much money and you had big houses and you could do whatever you want and you can relax. And I literally just called my friend and I was like freaking out because, like, I'm the biggest person that keeps me back. Like, I'm terrified. I don't have 401k. My counsel did not have my back. I was so traumatized when I got out and then terrorized for the next year that I couldn't even think straight to help the people that wanted to help me. And the people I entrusted to help me didn't help me. And there's just timelines that you can't stop. And so it is what it is. And, I'm 47 years old. It's not like I'm 25. I'm healthy. Kinda. I have an autoimmune disease, which means it's life-threatening for the rest of my life. Things can change. But it's not like I'm an invalid and can't do anything for myself. But it is terrifying. Like, I could have stayed. I'm so mad that I think this way. I could have stayed. My life would have been so much easier. I could have just gone and done whatever I wanted. Kinda. I mean, I say that, and then I think as I say that, I'm like, but you couldn't. It's like so weird that my brain thinks that way. And I called my girlfriend and I told her, I was like, I probably should have just stayed. I should have just stayed. It wasn't that bad. And she just started, she's like, Jenna, what are you talking about? Like, literally. And then I just keep thinking, I'm like, but I had a huge house and all my bills were paid for and I never had to think how they were going to get paid. My grass was cut. Well, not the last year of separation. But you know what I mean? All the basic things to keep the image up. And I gave up my entire image that I was trained to have for my family for 23 years. Like, I was the stay-at-home mom and I made the image of we were the perfect family. I have beautiful children. They were dressed right. They, did top sports like cheer and football and went to all that stuff. And I was, the cheer mom and, did all that stuff and then did photography on the side just to make money, to make ends meet while he built his career up. And I stayed long enough to just give it all up when it was like right there. And And I'm so mad at myself because I'm not this way. I don't think this way. But it is hard to be a single female when you're 47, when your kids are out. It's not like I have little kids. I always say if I had little kids, this would be not even a question, because that instinct comes in. I have to, my kids, you know, I got little kids. I got to get them up for school. I got to get them to here. I got to get them to there. I got to go to work. I got to do that. I don't have that. I'm literally at home. The worst time of my day is after the gym at night when the house is quiet and silent and I just am in my thoughts. And it's so hard. Like, I'm my own boss. If I don't go to work, if I get sick, nothing happens. And my Jenna photography would just crumble. And I love what I do. I have a passion for it. I love it. But I'm in my head. Like, I'm literally in my head. And I'm booking shoots and I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited. But every time I think future and long run, I freak out. Because my future was right there. Like, it was solidified. Like, I was comfortable for the rest of my life. Maybe not mentally in my relationship, but financially, I was fine. And I gave it all up to be happy. Maybe I should have stayed. It was like stable in every other area but that. Like, is my mental health really that important? And then my friends remind me, they're like, yes, like you're just in that crazy in-between stage. And I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to work through the process. But it's terrifying. It's terrifying to start over at 47. But it's hard to know you gave away. My ex will probably never make less than $1 million every year. And I'm starting over. And basically as if I'm a 20-year-old again. And it just doesn't seem fair.
Do you think that it was fair for you to leave your husband of 23 years so that you can go be happy, or whatever that means? Your husband sucked it up and moved on, and now he is doing better than ever before. So you need to woman up and take responsibility of your actions. Now it's time for some sweet tears and more regrets to conclude today's story.
Trying to survive this year. I'm gonna be honest, the random things that trigger me are the craziest things. I'm sitting in my car, literally sitting in my car, trying to pull myself together because I did what any mom does, and I pulled an emergency drive to my daughter because she needed something, and drove an hour because she's at college to drop something off, and was just so thankful that like I could do it for her and fit her in my schedule. And the littlest thing she said just triggered me, and this is the second time in a week that my child has triggered me without even meaning to. So we're getting ready to leave and she's like, well, I'll be home because I'm going to be at the Clemson Notre Dame game because Dad's going to take us all. You think that's nothing, right? Like nothing, right? And it instantly, like she instantly saw a switch in me, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing, because, you know, I don't talk about that stuff. I don't want her to worry. She's like, Mom, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. And I had to keep it together because last week, she said randomly, I was like, what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? This is my year to have Thanksgiving with you guys. What do you guys want to do? You want to volunteer? Do you want me to just cook at home? Do you want to go out to eat? Like, I'm literally like begging for them to give me any feedback, because last year my ex used every single holiday, even if it was my holiday, to be with my kids, to isolate me, manipulate them, to torment me, and everything he could with the South Carolina 1 year of separation law. And my lawyer did nothing to help me, and the laws did nothing to help me, and my children were used as weapons. So last week she says, oh, well, Dad said for Christmas we're gonna go to Gatlinburg and be there for the holidays and do Dollywood. That man never once ever went to Gatlinburg or Dollywood ever in his entire life before he met me. That was where my family always went. I'm from Tennessee. That's something we always did. It was a bonding thing. And now that's what he's trying to do. It's like he's taken every single tradition I've ever done and now turned it into his. Everything I've ever done. And the worst part, and the thing that triggers me, is that I was screwed. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. There's no way to lie about it. Like, I literally was screwed. Now I find myself triggered because during the hardest time of my year last year, of me literally trying to stay alive, me dealing with all the craziness of my ex the lying, the alienation, him calling me a whore, him having my children call me a whore. Why? Not because I did anything bad, because I wore spaghetti straps and all that. And his only way, the only way that he could use my children against me was to say I was on social media. And in some ways, I'm not even helping myself because my brain is so stressed. I'm just trying to, like, don't keep dwelling on it. I keep telling myself, don't dwell on it. Just survive right now. Just get through it. Just get through the holidays. But there's a timeline. And if I don't do stuff by February 8th, I can never fix the situation. But if I don't survive now, I'm literally going to be a complete mess mentally. So I'm trying, like, this is like crazy medium, and I'm trying to be happy and show my kids that, like, life can move on. But the triggers, the random fucking triggers that have me sitting in a Quick Trip parking lot trying not to cry. Why? Because my ex has so much money. He makes more than $18,000 a month easily, or at least he did. He made almost $1 million the year before we divorced and then lied about it. He has all the money at his fingertips to do whatever he wants, to buy my children, take them on trips, take them on vacations. Why I literally have the bare minimum to pay my bills, on top of trying to restart a career because it was a hobby, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And just like he said, I wasn't part of the equation. I was not part of the equation the entire marriage, this man told me. My role in life was to be the mother of his children and to do anything that was needed for the family while he built his career. I was not part of the equation. So how was that marriage ever supposed to survive when I was fully 100% in trying to make a marriage, a life, a family, and this man never included me in the equation? And then when it was done and I got loose and I tried to survive, that man had been plotting for over a year on how to make my life hell because he had all the money, all the control. And now I sit here with the triggers. A fucking trigger because he's going to the Clemson Notre Dame game with my kids. I can't just randomly afford that. Hell, I can't even get them all in the same room at the same time. So I sit here. And I'm going to get through this trigger. I'm going to suck it up, buttercup. And I'll move on. But it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. I'm pissed. It's just not fair. And I don't understand how.
Now you can go be happy. Now you can go pursue your career. Now you can be a free and empowered woman. Nobody forced you to get a divorce. You wanted out of the marriage and you got it. There is nothing in life that is worth having that doesn't require some kind of efforts and sacrifices. Life is all about trade-offs and choices. Once you make a decision, you're gonna have to honor and live by it. That's it for today's video. But before we go, I would like to remind you to keep your head up, focus on your goals, and everything else will follow. I love you, and I appreciate you for all your support. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share to help push this content to more men in need. I'm out. Peace.